Hello everyone, hi, this is Maru-chan, July 11th, 7:33 a.m. 2011 or 2021 and welcome to the Maru-chan podcast. So, hey, hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and that you guys are just all dandy and whatnot. And today we're going to be talking about another great game called Sonic Mania Plus. Now, the game released in 2017, as you guys, if you guys have watched my before thoughts, which I hope you guys do. So if you have not, go to that video right now and watch it. And this is the afterthoughts of my video. Usually I do a before and afterthoughts for each game, so please listen to it. Anyway, yeah, so this game, it was called Sonic Mania at first when, this version was out. And then later it was re-released as Sonic Mania Plus on more platforms like the Switch and every other platform. So anyway, the difference between those two games are like, I believe that you get to use some new characters, and there's a difference in like what stages there are, or not the stages, but the modes, like Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. They appear in the game, which are like very obscure Sonic characters. They're classic characters, but they're a little bit obscure. Anyway, so this game is kind of, it's not super new, and like I mentioned last episode, you guys, or not last episode, this episode, but the before thoughts, you guys could have picked this game up if you guys wanted to on Epic Games. So that's a thing that was up. Anyway, so yeah, the game, obviously it looks super nice. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And either way, I just want to say that I did plan on beating the game, which I did. So there's Mania Mode, and then there's Encore, there's Competition, and like Time Attack, I believe. Encore is basically the same thing as Mania Mode, but just the difference is that you beat the game with you can beat it with 2 extra characters. Yeah, that's about it, and maybe the stages change a little bit, like maybe enemy placement, etc. So yeah, that's some stuff. Anyway, in this game, you will have some of the zones that you had in prior Sonic games, and you will also have like, but the remix. That's just to let you guys know, they're not exactly the same, but they are remixed, new music and everything. But so for the most part, the same, just remastered. And yeah, there's some original ones that came out just for Mania, which are actually really good. I remember playing these. Anyway, you can also get, I believe, Supersonic or Hypersonic if you get all the emeralds in the game. And how you get these emeralds is by finding the secret rings, which you do a level by catching like this machine that has the emerald. You catch it and you get the emerald. Anyway, I want to talk about my experience in the game. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about how I went through the Mania mode, and then afterwards I'll talk a little bit more. But just over some opinions that I have about the game. It's not too difficult. I think the end is more difficult than the beginning of the game. Obviously, that's how games should be, right? The difficulty ramps up later on, but this game sometimes it like ramps up a lot, and then sometimes it gets easy again. Anyway, so you do want to take your lives into consideration, and in the first few levels, rack up as many as you can. Rack up as many lives, because you will need it later on. Alright, so anyway, I'll talk about the first stage, which is Green Hill Zone, which is the music. Jesus Christ, it's good. It's nice. It's wow. Okay, if you play this game and if you've listened to Sonic music before, you will be amazed. It just sounds so clean. Anyways, the stage is very easy, and there's a ton of routes, just like any other Sonic 2D Sonic game. There's a ton of routes that you can take, and that's the cool thing about it. It makes you want to kind of go back and try each one. So you do the level, and you defeat Dr. Robotnik, which is Eggman. And yeah, he used like these 2 balls, and you have to like hit them. Sometimes one turns invincible, so you have to hit the other one, etc. That's how that's how you do this in this stage. Anyways, that's when I kind of started finding about the secret rings, because I found one and I got the emerald. So okay, then Act 2 started, and I beat the other Eggman boss, which he's like walking around. He walks and breaks the stage, and he can extend his arms. He like shoots them at you after a certain amount of time, and yeah, so he shoots them, and like you have to jump and hit his body. Now, if you stay in his body and you jump a ton of times, yeah, you'll get hurt a little, but if you know, those invincibility frames will help you out. But if you jump a ton, you can just kill him right away. So that's kind of a secret for many of the bosses in these games, or these kinds of games. You can basically jinx it, you know? You can just pull a fast one on them. You can do the rubberoo. But yeah, that's essentially what it is. Then after you beat the final boss of the final act, you hit the little what is it called? It's like a little machine that has all the animals in it. It's like a little cage, a time capsule, I don't know. Anyway, you save the animals, little bunnies, and I've seen all kinds of animals come out. Even when you kill an enemy, a little animal pops out, which is cute. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but it's a thing. So yeah, that's the thing. So anyways, next one is Studiopolis, which once again, the visuals, the music, wow. One thing I did not even talk about was in the settings, you can leave it to like how it normally looks. You can change it to clean, which actually, in my opinion, blurs it out more, which you don't want. And there are also the Crt mode and Crt scanline, which is like it turns your TV like into a CRT TV, but the scanlines get, you know, deeper. That's the only difference between those two. But I left mine at the normal one, which is just none, and it looked fantastic. It looked clean. Couldn't ask for anything better. It was just a good old great time. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just thinking here. Oh yeah, Studiopolis. So the colors are very vibrant in the stage. You feel fast when you go through the stage. It feels so good. The animations are smooth on Sonic and all the enemies, and just everything in the stage. It looks so amazing. It's super lively. Which I'm gonna be repeating myself a lot of times because this game is just Sonic, but you know, looks beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, I remember in this stage, like you run through some parts and they're like windows, and you can see your like silhouette, and it's super cool. There's also this little truck that had like the name Hornet on it, and it shoots you like as a radio signal into like different parts, and it shoots you to another like antenna, and that antenna shoots you to another one, and then you appear in a different place. So it's really cool how those mechanics work, and you'll see how different mechanics work in different parts of each stage and each act, etc. So yeah, there's a lot of them to talk about. So then you fight Eggman in a helicopter. Yeah, you have to like hit the blue missiles and avoid the orange ones, like the long ones. It's a little bit tricky to do, but it's not that hard. Pretty easy. So yeah, that's what you do. You run really fast, and it's actually a very fun fight. And the background looks good. It's perfect. Actually, everything about, you know, Studiopolis kind of reminded me of King of Fighters. I don't know if you guys have played that, but when you guys play King of Fighters, like all the backgrounds move. Like maybe you'll be in a little town and there's a ton of people. Some guy will be drinking coffee and you can see him moving. You can see a little dog in the street walking around, kind of like back and forth. It's not completely animated, right? But it's animated enough. Everything looks lively. It looks like everything has life to it. So I felt this kind of replicated that feeling of King of Fighters or Fatal Fury or these really old Neo Geo games that give off this really happy and vibrant and positive energy. Anyway, so yeah, you beat Eggman the final time in Studiopolis, and you rescue the animals. So I forget what you do on this one. I forget what the second fight was, honestly. But it's not too important if I didn't really write it down here. Anyway, next one is the Flying Battery Zone. The music, super good here as well. I'm not just going to say that about the old tracks, because all the old tracks obviously are good, but also the new tracks also sounded very amazing. So for this zone, it was actually a lot slower than all the other ones so far. And it does require a lot more jumping, a lot more having to pay attention to the level design and everything. There were the little fire things that kept shooting you, so you have to like go really carefully and go around them so you don't get hit and lose all your coins and whatnot. So you beat Eggman, and he creates like toys, and you have to like kind of chase them around. And yeah, you kind of had to like, you were kind of like in a little machine, and one of those machines that kind of like gets toys, the claw machines. But instead of a claw, it's like a magnetic thing. So the walls would keep getting crushed, and you had to destroy these toys, and then hit the little magnet part so you could essentially beat them. So yeah, that's how he worked. Then you go to Act 2, which it was a little bit more complicated than this one, than the first act. The amount of routes and secrets that this place had were a lot higher than the other ones, at least from my experience going around. I just saw a lot more secrets. Maybe I was just feeling a bit like an explorer or something, like Indiana Jones. But yeah, so I found more stuff, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, oh, 1-ups, or the fire power up, or the bouncing mechanic one, the one that like you have a little bubble. There's a shield, and you also have this other bubble that has electricity, which gives you a double jump. So there are definitely other things you can find to make the game a lot easier and find different routes a lot better. Anyway, yeah, there are a ton of routes, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. It actually makes you want to explore more. So that's one thing I can, give to them. Credit where credit is due. So yeah, and anyway, you beat Eggman. I believe he was in a spider robot. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, you have to like hit him, and he goes down. And once you hit him enough, you use like this pole to like make you spin. Well, not spin, but like make it go around, and then you just like throw yourself at him, and then he hits the spikes on the left or the right. So yeah, he wasn't too hard, but yeah, it was a good boss, I guess. So let's see. We have Press Garden Zone. So these gave off the old ruins feel, and not to lie, but like if you guys have played these really old games, any kind of old games, it could be Dreamcast or Neo Geo or Sega Saturn or even NES and SNES, level design wasn't so crazy. So they had to be creative. Sometimes they would replicate almost the same character. For example, Ken and Ryu, they almost play the same. Akuma and Ryu, they almost play the same. Why? Because they are basically clones. They have to do this to be able to make more content, but they obviously change the values and all their actions so they can be a little bit different, right? So that's basically what you should consider here, that some of the zones will feel very similar, but also because now we have the technology, we can make it a lot different, and that I feel they did a good job. But some of the theming might be a little bit similar, but they are different. Like obviously you can notice. Anyway, so yeah, this one was very tricky because you had to actually open doors by hitting switches. The aesthetics were really nice on the stage, and they were different from the other stages. I believe in this one, you beat a boss that has blades, and you need to make him hit like boxes. So for example, he'll go towards you, and you need to hide on like close to a box, but like crouch down, or not, the little spikes will hit you. And once he hits the box, you just go and hit him. I mean, very quickly, because if you don't, he just comes back and tries to kill you. So that's that one. Then in Act 2 for Garden Zone, you kind of go into like this snow atmosphere, which is cool because like everything is covered in snow and it looks really nice. Yeah, I feel like this was one of the zones that was new because it didn't look like any of the ones I've ever seen ever in my life from playing Sonic 1, 2, or 3, and Knuckles. Sorry, Knuckles. Almost forgot you. So it was very creative, and so it had like this tree mechanic where you would like jump on a tree trunk. I wouldn't even go so far to call it a tree trunk. It was just a tree, the base of a tree, and basically once you got on it, the wood chipper would start chipping it away, and you had to like jump fast enough to either the higher platforms or into the normal route. And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And the boss there was like a ninja, and he like cuts you and freezes you, and the level design here was pretty good, and I really liked Act 2. Act 1 was alright, but it was just alright compared to Act 2, which was amazing. I loved it. Then we go on to Stardust Speedway. So this one definitely looked like the ancient ruins. It gave me a stronger impression of it, at least. And yeah, as you walk around, this one's kind of like greenish. The other one was kind of like yellowish. No, actually, this one was yellowish because this one had like these bird statues, golden bird statues, and it felt like a very dense mine. You know, it felt like you were in Egypt trying to catch. You were trying to catch something, like, and then the boulder falls down and tries to rain on your parade, that sort of thing, you know. Anyway, that's there are these like wheel mechanics on this one, which is cool. You can spin on them and it'll do something, like it'll make a door open or do any sort of thing, but it's really cool. Jump on it, you spin, and it does something. Pretty self-explanatory there. So I got to the boss level here. What was this one? So I think what I wrote down here is that like these little flying glasses. Oh yeah. So like these little flying things appear, like they teleport, and they start shooting like this laser beam, right? And they appear randomly, and that, I mean, you can kind of understand how the like where it's gonna go, right? But it takes you a little second, but it's fairly easy. It shoots, but before it like disappears again, you have to try to hit it, and that's how it goes. But then after you hit the little ones, the main one comes out and it shoots a big old laser, and you like hide on the right, but before it hits you, by going all the way to the right, you jump and hit it on its big fat head. And that's where we go on to Act 2. So this one also actually, you know, it went from like a super ancient ruins to like a Studiopolis kind of vibe to me, because everything in Act 2 was based like on horns and trumpets and stuff. And it had this really Studiopolis sort of feel, you know? It was just Studiopolis, but with a different coat of paint. Except it did have a very different change in the platforms. All the platforms, like I said, they look like horns or like trumpets or trombones or anything that's a horn, essentially. And this is where you find Metal Sonic, and you have to like kind of run after him a little. Now, beforehand, you know, there's always like a little cutscene before and after you finish a stage. Like maybe you'll see Eggman running away, or you'll see him looking inside something. And you know, there was a little Easter egg where he kind of looks at the computer and it shows Metal Sonic there. And I didn't actually mention this before, but yeah, that's what there was that. And it led up to this point where you find Metal Sonic. So you run after him, and then you fight him while he's shooting stuff at you. So he's basically going to what he does is he shoots these little balls of not fire, but like lasers. But it's not like a beam, it's more like just like a ball, right? And he shoots them at you. But he makes he makes like a robot appear, like a white robot that looks similar to Sonic. and they basically spin dash at you. So you spin dash at them, and they like bounce around. You can make them bounce around. You hit them, they bounce. You hit them, they bounce. It's that's how it goes. Then you can like bounce them and into hitting Metal Sonic, which is in the central part of the robot in the background. So you like make it bounce towards them and it hits them. Or once you kill one of those little robots, it's I don't know, it's like Peace will go flying and it can hit him. It can, but it doesn't always. Anyways, that's what you do. And after you defeat him, you have to go after him again. And then Eggman, he's just suddenly gives him an emerald like it's candy. Like, you know, like it's so easy to find these things. So he transforms into that big old Metal Sonic with the spikiness and the edginess and the coolness. Basically everything that Sonic isn't. And yeah, he's like flying after you, and you have to just hit him where it hurts, where the light shines, because it's in his chest. You have to hit him in the chest. But while doing so, he's like, his hands are doing the Roboto, Mr. Arigato, right? They're like going up and down, side to side, and you have to hit him when his hands are down. And just to let you know, he's also shooting beams at you, and I believe he's also shooting bombs at you too. So that's the thing. Then Eggman teleports you after defeating Metal Sonic, which leads you on to the next stage, which is the water stage. Now, at this point, this one became the slowest stage. And obviously you guys know why. It's a water stage. And I thought I wasn't gonna like it as much as I did, because I honestly didn't like water levels in Sonic games that much. I kind of, learned to like them overall in most games. Like, I used to hate water levels generally, but like everyone, right? But I understood that, they're there for a reason, to sometimes slow down the game, to not always have the player like on edge. These stages do this for great reasons. There are many reasons why, not just for the simple sake of having a water themed stage. So, Hydro City, it's very slow, and there's a ton of routes that you can take, and they're all very interesting. Like, I honestly wanted to go back into the stage and just keep redoing it until I went through all the areas that I could have possibly gone through, which there are a lot. And yeah, so I played it, and there's a lot of spikes and a lot of rods sticking out of the floor, which suddenly like come out. Although some of them, maybe like one or two, were misplaced in a spot that you could never like see. So I thought that was unfair. Just letting you know, Sega, come on, please. But it wasn't a big deal, honestly, because this was only like one or two in the whole map. Now there may be more, but from my experience, it was fair. It was a fair water level. So if you complain about it, you probably suck at this game. But I'm just saying, like, come on, it's not that hard. It's a pretty easy water level. So it'll always make you like try to get enough air when you're underwater to you barely reach a certain point that has air, or air bubbles, which you can get more air from. So yeah, it's still cool. It's still a cool level. Anyways, there are even some bubbles that you can jump inside and you can glide, and there are these like what are they called? Like these like flipper things that will push air underwater, or push a water current, and it'll make you fly towards a different direction, or float rather. So yeah, you can also do those, and you have to avoid spikes and try to get to the other side wherever they want to make you go. So the boss was easy here. All it was is like you get into a machine that sucks. I call it the suckinator, or the vacuuminator, and it sucks whatever you want it to suck. You just hold A and it starts sucking. Now, please don't make a pun out of that. So you'll see Eggman in a wetsuit, and he's just like, or in a diving suit or whatever they're called, and he leaves bombs on inside the water. So once you see him do that, like you don't want to suck him with the bombs. You just want to suck him after he's put the bombs in. Like you know you're not gonna suck the bomb first, and you're gonna suck Eggman instead. I'm sorry, that just sounds wrong. Sucking Eggman, sucking Dr. Robotnik. So yeah, essentially that's what you have to do. You suck them up, and it hurts them each time you suck them into your ship. So yeah, that's basically how you beat them. And now Act 2. I don't know why I thought I said there are a ton of pubes, but it's a ton of tubes in this level. And yeah, they're like basically like slip and slides, right? The water tubes that you take when you go to a water park, right? Like those tubes that you go up the ladder, and then like every kid's taking their turn, and then you see one kid, he's like eating ice cream, and he gets the railings all like sticky and crap. Yeah, that sort of tube. So you go down the water tube, and it's pretty cool. Some of them let you still run, but some of them like it puts you in an animation where you're falling. But they're both cool anyway. And so that's like the mechanic here. You use those, and oh yeah. There was this one thing that I liked about this stage. The platforms, they were like spinning, but while they were going up and down. So if you stand on them, they're actually they spin Sonic around like on a pedestal, right? And you could just see him like in 3D. Because they animate him to look 3D, but not really. It's so cool. It's such a cool little detail that they add, which makes the game, wow, it makes the presentation look so wonderful. I love it. I think it's super cool. So after going through more areas, I remember I fell through this other water current, and that's when the boss fight started. I actually died like 2 times maybe, but this is like the first time I ever died in here, I think. So he's inside like an airplane, and he tries to chase you down. And as you're going, you see a lot of debris. So in these parts, you're supposed to basically avoid the debris, and you'll see like these bombs. You have to like touch them and then move away from them. But he can avoid them because he chases you. So you have to like go either way, whichever the bomb is at, so he can go towards the bomb and essentially explode. You do this a few times, bada beam, bada boom, wham, he's dead. So yeah, that's that part. And the second phase is like there's 2 ramps of that fight. The second phase of that fight, just like he becomes like a circle, and you have to hit him a few times. It's really hard to describe anyway. It wasn't that like, wow, it was just okay. I thought the second phase was kind of boring. So then we have Mirage Saloon, which is one of my favorite levels in this game. It's I believe it's one of the new ones here, one of the new stages, originals, and it's gorgeous. It's just everything about this stage is so well done. So here it starts out with like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles flying on that Tails airship thing. I forget the name. Anyway, so you get on it, or you're on it, and then Knuckles gets knocked off, and then you start the flying level. So if you run to the right, Tails follows you. You're on the airplane basically. So you see this like magician, and he laughs after he knocks down Knuckles off the airplane. And yeah, I also figured out that you can't spin dash to the bottom left, because if you do, you die. So I don't know if that's like a glitch or the bug or something, but Sega, fix it. Come on, you know better. Come on, please, just do. I want to spin that shit everywhere, mostly the bottom left of the screen. So yeah, that's one experience that I had. But once you basically go through, like, there are a ton of enemies. I'm not going through all the enemies in this game, honestly, because there are a ton. And this is not like I'm not doing an analysis of the video. I'm just simply telling you guys my experience, what I saw, what I went through, what I thought was interesting, and what wasn't. So yeah, there was a ton of enemies. there were some decent ones, some annoying ones, like there were these things flying on top of like a turtle, what I think was a turtle, maybe it was another animal, and it was shooting at me. And yeah, maybe that sounds kind of stupid to say, because there's no such thing as a flying turtle in the desert, because it's a desert. Anyway, so yeah, once you finish the flying part, you get to this train, and you see Eggman in the front. So then like the train goes past you, and you end up in the back of the train. I actually died beforehand because of the spin dash thing that I just explained, but that's for another day. So yeah, I basically got on the train, and it's a fun level. You defeat some enemies, but the really cool thing is the gun. Yeah, there's a gun. There's a gun on the train, and you might think, why is there a gun? Well, who cares about a gun? But no, this is a giant gun, and you can jump in it. You basically jump into the chamber. This hand next to the gun throws the gun up in the air. It's like spins like a cool cowboy movie. It grabs it, aims it up, and shoots it up in the air, and you obviously get back on with tails on the airplane. So it was really cool. It was really awesome. I loved that part. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Anyways, you fight like this pink worm, and he basically jumps towards you and into the background. This is kind of like background foreground sort of thing. So as soon as you see him in your lair, you like jump and it hits him, take damage. Act 2 now was actually running around in the sand, like in the actual desert itself. And oh, by the way, you see like the bird guy from Sonic Fighters. So that's a thing. You see him, which is cool. Anyways, when you go into this level, you actually see wanted posters of some old Sonic characters from maybe if you played Sonic Fighters, you will know, like it's a fighting game, like kind of like Tekken or Street Fighter or Soul Calibur, like 3D. It is really cool. You see some of those characters in wanted posters as a little Easter egg. Anyways, so there were some little bulbs here. What did I that make you? I don't know what I was trying to say. Oh, okay, yeah. There are some bulbs here that kind of like if you like jump on them, they make you fly a little bit more, which is super cool. If you actually see them and you see the effects, they're really cool. Anyway, what I liked about this one is like there are piano floors and walls everywhere, and you like when you bounce on them, you just go flying everywhere, and it's so cool because it starts playing like piano noises and everything. And so you like hop around all over the place. Anyways, you get to the boss battle, which is a magician. And yeah, he turns into all of the characters from those wanted posters, and they start to attack you, and you have to beat them. Like the guy with the gun, he shoots cork screws or whatever, not screws, but the cork thing that you would see in wine. He shoots that, which it's really funny. There's the big one, the yellow one, and then there's the one with the hat. Yeah, I forget his name though. Anyways, that takes us to Oil Ocean Zone, which was not a difficult one. I think this one had some decent mechanics. I think if anything, it was maybe one of the most okay ones. All right. Very standard, very normal design. This is another one of the new ones, I believe, because I don't remember this one, Oil Ocean Zone. So basically, all of the routes on this one were extremely interesting, though. I call it standard, but it did have very interesting parts because every single level in this game is very interesting, and a lot to do, a lot to find. But there's a ton of spikes here. And once you get like the fire power up, it's super cool because you start catching everything on fire because you're on fire, and everything that is fire related can't hurt you. Same with the bubble thing that makes you bounce. If you're inside water, you can breathe forever. And I imagine if you have the electricity power up, you cannot get electrocuted. I'm going to guess. I never actually tested this, but I'm gonna guess it's that. So if you fall inside the ocean, which is actually oil, the whole ocean starts to catch on fire, which is super cool. And some parts have oil on them, so you just like catch random crap on fire. Anyway, that was the cool part about it. And there are some like green platforms that like they shoot out of the nowhere up into the air. And yeah, I thought that was cool. So the boss here was a robot that like he I believe he threw a wrench, and then also turned into a wheel. Oh yeah. He turned the little wheel thing, so all of those green platforms could all jump up at the same time. But you had to know which one to get on, because if you didn't, you would hit spikes at the top. So that was the mechanic here. You had to watch out which one you were standing on and not get hit by the wrench. So yeah, that was that. And Act 2 for this, which was like in the lower parts of that city. And I like that there was this like purple oil which you can like just jump up like infinitely with. It was super cool though. Yeah, I thought that was cool. This stage I feel didn't have so much more to talk about. Besides that, it has this mechanic which it like pollutes the area, and if you want to be able to see clearly again, then you will hit a switch which will clear up the screen for a few minutes. So not even minutes, it was like 40 seconds. So you reach the boss. It's Eggman and an octopus like machine, and it basically shoots stuff at you, which you could easily beat. You jump in the water, you hit the octopus, and yeah, so then when it takes out any of its tentacles, you just hit them. It's that easy. It's not really that hard, honestly. So next is the level that kind of got me to start losing. This is where I started getting like, huh? Wait, the game is getting a little bit more difficult. Like, okay, all right. So this is Lava Reef Zone. Okay, it has a ton of mechanics. It's like a you're inside a volcano almost, and the enemies are cool here. There's plenty of cool enemies like right around, and they have like a little razor blade in the front, but then in the back you can kill them because they don't have anything. So yeah, there's a ton of secrets here too. Oh yeah, they had like these little guns in the wall that shot, and it was kind of hard to see the bullets. So that was another cool mechanic. You had to really watch out where you were at. So I guess here I got to the boss, but then I died. Who was the boss? Oh, I think I know who the boss was. So actually, I died several times, and that's when I got my first game over. I never get those, but I guess I did get my first game over in this stage, in this act. Some of the enemies are really hard to deal with here, and for example, they hit you, right? And usually you have an invincibility frame, and but a lot of these enemies, they hit you. You know you can't get out because there's like something there, or you just can't move because you have to wait. And then, because they already did their second attack after the first one, by the time your invincibility frames are gone, obviously your character has already touched the other frame of the other hit. Therefore, game over. So yeah, it was a little bit unfair in my honest opinion. Some of the enemies there are just kind of crazy. I wouldn't, go so far to call them crazy, but they were they had a very difficult pattern to follow, and when they hit you, you were like done for. So the boss here, I remember that he drops from the ceiling. Wait, was it this one? Yeah. Basically, he drops down from the ceiling, and he either drops rubble, or he shoots what was it? A laser? No, he drops an iron ball, a spiky iron ball, and yeah, you basically have to either get him to hit the normal floors, which will cause the lava to go up and hit him, or you make the rubble hit him, or the rubble go down and you hit him while the rubble is just falling, which you have to kind of know how to do because you're limited on your space. So yeah, Act 2 it actually looks very different. It looks like a completely different level. Yeah, and it goes very slow. It looks like bluish instead of like this reddish volcano. It's like bluish, darkish sort of thing. It looked really nice, but it was a very slow stage. I didn't enjoy it as much, honestly. I feel it wasn't so creative. It didn't have anything special. Most of the mechanics were brought from the first act. Basically, this boss. Oh, I remember who this boss was. You basically fight this dude that's like spinning a ball around, and he has like a motorcycle, and he can hit you with the front part of the motorcycle or with the ball chain. And yeah, so that's kind of dangerous. So you have to like make sure you hit him at the perfect time, and he goes really fast, and it's a little bit hard to know, but it's not too difficult. All right, so then we have here. Let me see how many we have left. Two more. I guess we have 2 more zones here to talk about, and just the rest of the what I felt about the game. So Metallic Madness was the next one. I think the whole mechanics in this one was super cool. It's another new one. So you have cool enemies, some that can move their spikes around and have a ton of balls. I think they were like bees, and they would just they would just like throw them everywhere. Anyways, here I'm just thinking about the other mechanics that they had. There was a super cool one around here. So yeah, oh yeah, this stage I remember. There was like a catapult sort of thing, and when you jump in it, it like catapults you to the background. If you guys have ever played Mutant Muds, please look it up. It's a game. It's super cool. There's like layers. It was made for the 3DS at first, but then they made it later for like the Switch and stuff. But you like jump layers, and it's like a 3D game. So you might even see the first layer where you were originally playing in, but the game pushes you back to the back layer, and then there's maybe a foreground layer, which is so cool. It's like super cool, and they did this here. It was so well done, honestly. I think it was super nice. The boss was also quite fun. It basically makes the platforms rise, and like he just waits, and then like they fall and smash you. Yeah, it was a cool one, honestly. That was a good act. Anyways, in Act 2, then you go to another really cool mechanic. It's a stage swapper. Basically, there's a background in the foreground, but instead it's on the same layer. So for example, if there's a window, right? Maybe in this foreground, or in the layer you're at, you're in front of the window, but then when you get into the swapper, you're behind the window, which is so cool. I thought it was such a cool mechanic, which is even present in Super Mario Bros 3, when you like go, like when you crouch down like under a certain block, you can go down it, and you could get the secret windpipes, the flutes, the wind flutes that let you travel to the end of the game. Yeah, those. And yeah, so it's definitely cool how that mechanic is actually inputted here. It's nothing like super new, but I love that they added it and implemented in here. It's just, you can't go wrong with it. So yeah, I remember there's also a no gravity mechanic, like these little platforms, circle platforms that you can walk around like Mario Galaxy. That was also really cool. Oh yeah, 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 and the lasers. Oh god, this stage had so much stuff. There were these lasers. The blue ones turn you big, and the red ones turn you small. What I mean by that is like they turn him into a baby Sonic and baby Tails or baby Knuckles or whatever. It's so cute. Like they have big old heads and tiny old bodies. It's just a good old time, and you're running around as baby Sonic. Now I wish they would have added him, like they would have added a diaper in that model or in that sprite. That would have been awesome, but they didn't, so that's a little bit sad. But anyway, yeah, so he looks so cute, and you do the fight with him, with Tails and him as baby Sonic. So the Eggman Fight here, it's he's like one of them bubblegum machines that drop gum, right? Like, you know, when you go to like a restaurant and they have them there, really old, no one uses them. You put in a quarter, you spin the thing, and then a little thing comes out, a little, maybe a toy or candy or something, a keychain. So yeah, he's basically in one of those machines, and each time you hit it in the middle, it'll spin and drop a toy which tries to kill you, which is not very it's not really something that you want, right? But that's what you have to do if you want to beat the Eggman. So you roll in the middle, you like hit the middle part, and you beat a little egg flying Eggman. And then you there's another one that has a little Eggman on a little car with a spike in the front. Oh, this little cutie. And then there's one with who was it, with Amy. So you have to like make sure you like hit it, but don't get too close to it or it'll hurt you. So I thought this stage was awesome. That's one of my favorite stages in the game. So last but not least, the final stage, which I don't have much to talk about because honestly, it's a really long one, but it's not like it's not super unique in terms of like all of the stuff it could have had. It borrows a lot from the other stages, but it's kind of like a test, right, for the final stage. So here, it's called the Titanic Monarch Zone, and yeah, the stage is really difficult. For one, it's just extremely difficult. Oh yeah, the balls. They're these like magnetic balls that you can fly around, and it's really hard to control if you don't know how to use them correctly. And there are also these like electrical surges that come out of these like rods on the like around the stage. So you have to like kind of be careful how you're going throughout the stage and what you're doing. It's one of the most difficult stages in the game besides the lava one. But it's not the hardest, right? It's just very difficult. If you use your head at times, you won't lose many lives. So just like use your head, go slowly, but not too slow. And yeah, just try to beat the bosses. But here, you can't do any of that because you have to hit wait, what was this one? Oh yeah, this one was easy. This part, the boss here, yeah, there was like a machine in the middle, and it had balls spinning around it. You have to like hit it in its eye when the balls were, you know, lowered. Yeah, this one wasn't too hard. This one was pretty easy. Oh, I didn't even go over one of the other bosses. There was a boss in, I believe, the second stage that had Eggman, and he pulls you out, or not, he doesn't pull you out, but like you go into this part and you start playing Puyo Puyo. That's like the game where you have to mix in different colors and stuff, like kind of like Tetris, but just without blocks. It's their colors, or Pura Pura, Puyo Puyo, something like that. It's so fun. It's a really cool stage, but that's like one of the classic stages. Just letting you guys know. So Act 2 for the final stage. You have to beat 4 different levels. What I mean is, like, you go through the main part of the act, and then you encounter these 4 areas. You have to beat all 4 areas if you want to, you know, fight the boss. So each area has its own mechanics that you've learned throughout the game, and once you beat them all, under 10 minutes, obviously, then that's when you go into the middle portal, which is the final boss. So the final boss is pretty crazy, and let me tell you why. I don't know if it was my game or if it was whatever. I played this on the PC. I don't know what's going on, but like every few minutes, it was kicking me out of the game. But not like kicking me out, like they closed the game, but it would just like take me out of the tab. So I had to go back in, and it would do this throughout the whole game. So, you know, all of the stuff I experienced, I always had this issue. I could imagine that the game was much easier if I didn't go through this issue. Anyway, so yeah, the final boss, he's a bit crazy. He like electrocutes with his tentacles because he has like 4 tentacles, which he loses the more damage you take from him. And yeah, so after you hit him, and he like covers himself so you can't hit him in the main part. He like grabs you with these hands, and he takes you to another boss fight, but it's like unique, but you have to last enough time in that little boss fight, and yeah, you basically have to do that, last it, and then you go back to that boss fight with him, and you have to hurt him enough, and more tentacles keep coming off, but then he also shoots missiles. It was super hard because my game would always end up, the tab would always come off, so I'd like be stuck and forced to lose all my health or just die. It was really dumb, honestly, but whatever. I found a way to beat him. If you want to know, basically I would just hit him and jump into like a corner where he would come and start electrocuting. By the time you finish electrocuting, I would already spin dash and hit him like 4 times. But that wasn't even the best part about it. There was like when he starts electrocuting, like just with his tentacles, you can actually jump inside of him, and you don't take damage. That's the weird part about it. Usually, if you're inside an enemy or a boss, you take damage, and then hopefully your invincibility frames can do you a solid. So I jumped inside of him and started jumping like 30 times at once. Actually, not 30, maybe like 6 or 7 times per electrocution. So yeah, it was interesting when I found out that I could beat him extremely fast, and it was interesting. Yeah, it was cool. Anyway, yeah, I died a ton of times there. Maybe like I got like maybe 2 or 3 game overs just there, and I finally beat him. I was so excited. I got the cutscene. I got the end credits. It told me that I beat the game in 3.5 hours. I saw that it actually takes 5 hours to beat this game, but apparently I did it faster. So, hooray! So, yeah, that's essentially what the game is. And yeah, you can go back to the stages that you want to go and get the secret coins in if you want to go back. Yeah, that was the game, really. It's interesting to play, and I hope you guys get to enjoy this. If you want to know about the other modes, I guess there was also competition mode, which is fun. You get to compete with friends and stuff, and yeah, who gets to the end faster. So if you have friends, it's a cool game to just try it. It's not like you're gonna try to do it forever, but it's just fun to do it. By the way, you can change your character, and I'll tell you guys when I found that out about that. In Encore Mode, which is a new mode in the Plus version, you get like those new characters that I mentioned at the very, very beginning of the podcast. And yeah, so you get to choose one of the two, so that and then you basically play story mode all over again. Except there's a few changes, like in some of the stages they look different, or enemy placement and other stuff. And I just stood there walking around, and I pressed Y, and I figured out that you can actually change characters. So all that time I had Tails and like Knuckles and stuff. I never used them. I'm an idiot. I would have loved to use them. Anyways, I did play with them a few times in Encore. I changed around because you can get a little box that gives you a like change character thing. And I remember I got Knuckles and Tails and I got the flying squirrel guy, and I was like flying around, and the other dude too. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk about like everything in Encore Mode. I did beat it too. The reason I don't really want to talk about it in the podcast is because at the end of the day, it's almost like the main game, the Mania Mode, but it's some differences, right? I'm not gonna really talk about it. But guys, you guys could definitely enjoy it too. Just pick up the game. It's on the Switch. It's on the PC. It's on like every modern console up right now. Give it a shot. It's actually a really, really nice game. Put some headphones on and just enjoy the game. It's totally worth it. If you got it for an Epic, then install the game and just play it. It's good old fun. You can't go wrong with Sonic, and mostly when it's at its best. It's a wonderful game. But I think that's all for today, guys. I really appreciate that you guys come and listen to me. There's a lot of stuff to say about all these games and what was fun about them and whatnot. Many times there's just so much information that I might just kind of change the way I do this. I'll talk about some of the things here, and I'll truly only talk about the things I feel are interesting, which that's what I usually do. But it takes a lot of time anyway to do that sort of thing and give opinions and how things work, because you guys may not know some of the things or these mechanics if you're not visually looking at the game, right? That's the difference between like a podcast and an actual traditional video. So guys, thank you so much. If you guys would like to support me, you guys can through Patreon or through Streamlabs. You guys can also follow me in my Twitch, in my Twitter, and if you guys would like to support me through other ways, you guys can through YouTube. Go ahead and give a comment, a like, and a subscription if you guys like. Hit that notification bell. Make sure that you guys are watching my videos every single time they're out, and I hope that you guys enjoy, because I certainly enjoy being able to see your comments, being able to see your side of things. So thank you guys, and have yourselves a very wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video or podcast.